Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever.
As St. Paul says, it is full time now for us to rise from sleep. It is full time now for us to wake from the slumber of fleshly indulgence, to arise from a false pretense of a lukewarm faith, to awake from comfort, the comfort that arises from neglecting to realize the spiritual battle we are in, and therefore, it is full time now to awake from thinking that we can sit out this battle and be a passive bystander. Whether we recognize it or not, each one of us is a soldier in battle. And there is no option to be a conscientious objector. There is no way for us to desert our post. The only options available to us are to fight and also to be fought against. Because we are undoubtedly in a spiritual battle, and this battle is constantly being waged over where our souls will reside for all of eternity. So the time is now for us to wake up and engage in this battle. Because many of us, actually all of us, we're not getting any younger. And the sooner that we realize that we are not stationary in this fight, the better chance we have at eternal victory. Who is the enemy? Satan, and all of his angels, and all of his service, and all of his pride. It is the devil and all the fallen angels who have been given the opportunity to tempt us away from all that is good and virtuous and loving. It is the devil, the ruler of this world, who tempted Jesus in the desert with all sorts of glories, pleasures, and earthly powers. The devil tempted Jesus, and he continues to tempt us. He tempts us to give in to our flesh and pride, so that the divine spark of God within us can be diminished, and so that we voluntarily give up our hope of returning to the garden of paradise prepared for us at the beginning of time. What are the weapons that we can use to actively engage in this battle? St. Paul tells us in his first letter to the Thessalonians to pray constantly. This has been taken to mean that we should be engaged in prayer through all the parts of our day, either at the actual prescribed hours of prayer of the divine office of the church, or just as we progress through our day, constantly, hour by hour, thinking and always praying to God. However, praying each morning and each evening is the essential minimum of the Christian life. And have no doubts, if one professes to be a Christian, if one attends church in any capacity and does not pray, their profession is really in vain, and they are still asleep in a dream of confusion produced by evil temptations. If we want to rise above the basic assaults in this battle, then we need to pray even more than that baseline. And we will need to pray for longer periods of time. The more we pray, the more we will experience the fruits of prayer. And then we will desire to pray. And we will not see it as an obligation, but we will see prayer as an opportunity to be present with God. The other essential weapon and shield that we can take up in the spiritual battle that engulfs us is fasting. In the Garden of Eden, the devil's tempting of Eve to eat the fruit of the tree of knowledge and of good and evil is considered the first human sin, the sin of gluttony. Hence, from that sin, all other sins tend to flow. Because we have physical bodies, we have temptations to sensual comforts. We therefore need to fight those physical temptations by taming our bodies and by putting those bodies in subjection to our spiritual intellect. We fast and we abstain from different foods and drinks that we may naturally desire, so that we can condition our bodies to not give in to its physical urges. And when we tame our bodies and natural desires, we see how unimportant those experiences are in our lives, especially if they create a separation between us and God through mortal sin. The last of the classic 3 weapons of spiritual warfare is almsgiving. When we use our free will to offer a portion of the fruits of our labor to the church and also to those in need, we engage in self-sacrifice. We reject the sin of greed by giving back to God what He has given us. He gave us many talents and traits which we offer to the world and receive compensation for. It is out of this treasure that we can show our compassion and love for others, not because they have given something to us or that they can add anything to our lives, but simply because we desire to give and help those who have had difficulty providing for themselves. Almsgiving is an act of love that can diffuse many evil assaults. The Great Fast is the main part of the year for us to engage in the eternal battle. The fast is a time for conversion, is a time to awake from slumber, a time to no longer accept attacks and setbacks, but it is a time for us to advance upon the enemy and thwart their wicked plans. And if we can fight, then we will see the most glorious victory over slumber, over death, and over hell, and we will see paradise once again. Now, this morning I was praying the Matins, and I came across a perfect passage at the praises, which actually highlights pretty much what the homily was about. It's very short. The arena of virtues is now open. Let all who wish to begin training enter now. Prepare yourselves for the struggle of the fast. Those who strive valiantly will receive the crown. Let us put on the armor of the cross to combat the enemy, taking faith as our unshakable rampart. Let us put on prayer as our breastplate and charity as our helmet. As our sword, let us use fasting, for it cuts out all evil from our hearts. Those who do this shall truly receive the crown from the hands of Christ, the Almighty One, on the judgment day. Glory to Jesus Christ.
Glory forever. Ave Maria Stella.